Hey, welcome back to Everyday Economics. The podcast helps you learn about the economic world happening around you every day. I'm your host, Chris Krug, president of the 501c3 nonprofit Franklin News Foundation. Everyday Economics is a production of America's Talking Network. You can check out all of our great podcasts at americastalking.com. We're recording this episode on Monday, April 3rd, and joining me, as always, my dear friend, Dr. Orphe Divounguy, PhD economist. Dr. O, we like to talk about the things that make people happy. And in the last couple of episodes, we probably haven't. So let's shift it up gear a bit. There are some cities that are really booming in the United States and continue to boom, continue to kind of defy, I would say the odds, I guess, would be the right way to present that. With regard to their growth, they don't look like they're stopping. What are those two cities that look like they're really moving with regard to jobs?
Yeah, it's Austin, Texas, and Jacksonville, Florida.
Isn't it Nashville, Tennessee?
Oh, yeah, Nashville's there. That's right. Nashville was the top one, followed by Austin, Texas, and Jacksonville, Florida.
Why is Jacksonville on this list? This is the first I've heard of that.
Man, listen, we talked about this on the podcast. You know, look, these cities do not surprise me whatsoever. They might surprise the untrained eye, but they do not surprise me whatsoever.
What do those cities have that other cities don't? I mean, obviously, there's some tax advantages if you live in Texas, Florida, or Tennessee. There's no state income tax.
And we could talk about that. Here's what they have. Population growth, domestic migration. People are moving there. People are moving there, and people who moved there bid up house prices, which created a ton of housing wealth. And all these people that now live there, some of them don't even actually work there, which is where it's really interesting. It's just that all of this housing wealth helps homeowners go out and spend more money. They're richer. They have more home equity. And so, of course, that stimulates local housing markets. And so the relationship between house prices, home equity, right, or housing wealth in the labor market is that. It's very simple. Homeowners spend more. Rich homeowners, wealthier homeowners spend more. And that helps support job openings, higher job openings, higher demand for workers. Population growth means there's a ton of supply of workers as well. Anyway, that's what's going on there. I wrote a report recently that showed that Florida overtook the state of New York for being the second most valuable housing market in the country. And that's it, man. That's the secret. And again, then the reason we might ask, like, okay, well, why is it that people go there? Well, there's the weather. It's nice down there. It's really nice, in fact. And then there's the fact that, they have very free economies, less regulations, lower taxes. People love that. It's good. It makes sense, especially at a time where around the country, we got this inflation surge, right? And so, why not go to a place where your dollars go further?
Well, talk to me about, so I'm surprised about Jacksonville, but I was actually I was just in the greater Jacksonville area over this past weekend, visiting with my brother and sister-in-law. And I could see that from the standpoint of like business growth, like job growth. I'm not necessarily seeing that. How about the next three cities that are on this list? I find them to be somewhat interesting, but also kind of all over the board. Two of them have some similarities. Well, all three of them have some similarities. Orlando, New Orleans, and Las Vegas are all on this list. Orlando and Las Vegas, obviously, again, in a state where Nevada has no income tax.
People move there. Remember, it's all about the movement of people.
For sure. It's a lot of California expats that have moved in that direction. Orlando.
Look, Florida home values are still up in double-digit territory.
Talk to me about New Orleans, though. I mean, one of the those three towns all have something in common. They are kind of like adult party towns. I mean, Orlando, is, I think, often sort of, equated directly with, Disney and the whole Disney empire. But Orlando is also, Nightside is an adult party town. Vegas certainly is. And New Orleans, without question. And you could say that, frankly, Nashville is too. So, I mean, is this like the suspended state of adolescence? Younger people that have the flexibility to move are moving to places where they can have a nice climate, have lower taxes, and party?
Yeah, when you look into who's moving there, you realize they're not that young anymore. They're millennials. I mean, they're not that young anymore. I mean, look, 41 years old. 41 years old is the oldest millennial in 2023. So they're not all that young anymore. They're starting families. They're going where housing is still somewhat attractive, where there's nice weather, where they can afford to buy a home. They're running away from the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest, that's for sure. And even some of the Southwest, right? Where, some of it, not all of it. But yeah, I mean, they're the ones, they moved to those areas. They moved during the pandemic. They're moving them there today. And they have arts. They have a great music scene. They have entertainment. They also have good booming towns with good housing, and their friends are moving there. We have friends that move to Tennessee. We talk about this all the time, and they're moving from more expensive cities, and they're able to work from home.
Well, let's talk about that part, because I think inside of the economy, I think that might be one of the underlying drivers. So the reality of it is, for, a lot of, in particular, white collar workers, people that, they can work, from anywhere or nowhere at all, as long as they have an internet connection. Is that driving this as well? It's like, you can just pick your city now.
Absolutely. You don't have to wait to retire to move to Florida anymore. I mean, I was looking at, it's not too long ago, I was looking at housing, and I was like, you know what, maybe the good weather, and there's some nice communities, right on the golf course. You get a golf cart in your driveway, and you just get up in the morning and you go on the golf course, and you can bring your laptop, man. Nothing stops you from getting work done. So you have now a combination of millennials, Gen Xers, all moving into those same areas. And that's why those areas are booming relative to the rest of the country.
I appreciate the insights as always, Dr. Orphe Divounguy. This has been Chris Krug. Subscribe to Everyday Economics at americastalking.com.